Hi there, this is Howard of AVtransfers UK, your home of digitization. Thanks for popping by. We like to look at a few old and wonderful technologies from yesteryear, and today we're back to the 1980s, I'm afraid. So get out your 1980s t-shirts and shorts. I managed to get a really cool video camera. Yes, you can believe it. I spoke in my recent video about a JVC GX44E camera and how sophisticated it was, and I've managed to find a much simpler one. This is a Sharp Saticon camera from about the same era as the JVC, so the early to mid 80s, probably about 83, and this is the XC-51. And a really very simple point and shoot operation. It has a zoom, but it doesn't have a focus. It sort of is a fixed focus, very bizarre camera. So whatever you see in the viewfinder is not actually necessarily, although in the correct position, is not always as clear as you would imagine. So I've managed to get this going, and we're going to take a look at that in this video. I've taken some footage as well. But first, before we do that, we're going to be also taking a look at a National Panasonic NV-180 full VHS portable video recorder, which can play and can record from at least one of these cameras. So without further ado, here goes. So here's just a quick look at the video camera before we get stuck into the video recorder. I did get the original Sharp VHS-C portable recorder with this, and it was in excellent condition, but it wouldn't work. So I opened it up and checked it out. There was absolutely nothing wrong with it except for one catastrophic fault. Would you like to guess what it was? Well, let me tell you. The head drum had totally seized up, and not just a little seize, like totally frozen, like it's been bolted in. So unfortunately that particular VCR is going to be a decoration, an ornament rather than a useful piece of equipment. And as for the power supply I got with it, well, that just went kaboom when I plugged it in. Being a switch mode power supply from the early 80s, I suppose I was a bit naive. But when I opened it up to see what went wrong, some water came running out of it. So I guess whoever sold it to me didn't take great care of it. But luckily the camera is good. So, you know, for what I paid for it, I basically was actually only bidding for the camera in my mind anyway. So this is, I guess, a late serial number. It looks pretty, well, 214,000, could that be? I don't know how many of these they made. But a couple of nice things. First of all, you can unplug the microphone, I believe. Let me see if I can do that here. Well, you can pull off the cover as well if you really want to be a doofus like me. Or you can pull this off. There we go. So I guess if you wanted to take silent movies, or if you just wanted to plug in another device, you could do it like that. I did use the microphone in the test I'm going to show you, and it's pretty good sound quality, to be fair. Okay, so basically this camera is very unusual because, okay, it's a Saticon, which means it's got a tube in for the pickup, but it does not have a tube in the viewfinder. So there's a prism, and you basically see through the lens like you would on an old Super 8 camera, the same sort of thing. And generally what you see focused in here is not always actually focused on the camera. It's a bit of hit and miss. So if you take a look through here, yeah, being a passive, I'm just going to line that up, being a passive kind of camera, it doesn't even need to be powered for you to see through the optics. This is something that always totally mystified me. So that's kind of what for me was quite magical on these old cameras. But there's very little to it. there's an outdoor, indoor, and I suppose fluorescent and incandescent option. So I found that the middle option is the best for modern lighting, and there's some information. It draws a lot less current than the double tube cameras that were made at the time, so I guess you would have got a bit more battery power out of it, or a bit more battery time out of it. And the other thing that's interesting is it's lighter, much lighter, so a nicer camera to use actually. If you weren't too critical on what you were filming, you kind of pointed it the right direction, and that was it. The plug that comes with it is basically the standard jack plug that most of the VHS format machines had, and it's pretty much the same as the JVC version, which is that one there. So this camera here, which I did an earlier review on, whoopsie, is basically a more sophisticated version, obviously, and it has the same plug, but you could pretty much swap and use either camera on that VCR, which is kind of nice, and there's a whole range of cameras you can use on those VCRs. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a deep dive into the VCR. I had to do some repairs on it, and the next clip will be about the DC jack installation on the VCR. If you find that a bit long, you can fast forward to the last sort of 5 minutes, and then you'll see the video playback of what I recorded, and I hope that'll be of interest. So thanks for tuning in, and here comes the video bit. This is a portable video machine dating back to about 1983. This one is a it is a NV-180B. Okay, so it's a PAL version of the NV-180. Now this is one of the earliest portables, probably not the earliest, but one of the nicest ones I've encountered. It is the second one I've owned. The first one I never got round to looking at, and I actually gave it to somebody, and I thought, oh no. So I managed to get this one for about 20 quid on eBay. It wasn't working. The problem with it was quite extensive. The mechanism is lubricated by grease, and clearly it hasn't been used for a very, very long time. So what happened was everything was covered in this thick layer of, for lack of a better word, snot. So I had to basically strip it apart and clean off all of the snot with alcohol and some cleaning earbuds, or what we call Q-tips, I guess. Q-tips, we call them earbuds. In South Africa we call them earbuds. I don't know what they call them in America. Q-tips though, I think everyone understands what that is. And I got this working, and I'm going to be showing it in a video where I've used it with a camera, because I've got another portable which is the video VHS-C, which is nice, but this is even nicer because you can actually use it for a whole lot more things, because it takes a traditional video tape, a VHS tape. It's just a standard VHS with mono sound, but it takes a full-size tape, which is exciting. So what am I doing right now with it? Well, I have luckily found the AC adapter. I actually happen to have that still for it, but it uses a proprietary plug, which is a bit of a pain. It's got the RF out as well, which is really nice, so you can modulate this straight to a TV. And this would have held the battery, but obviously the battery is finished. So I'm going to take this off with a bit of luck. There we go. Right, and the reason I'm taking this off is because when I reassembled it yesterday, one of these wires broke, and I don't need this adapter. This is just what would have been the adapter for the power. So I'm hopefully going to show you, with a bit of luck, me replacing this adapter. So let's just change angles quickly. So I'm getting very sophisticated in my old age. Okay, let's not say too old, but old enough age. So let me get on my image viewing devices, And okay, so here we've got the original battery thing. I don't see any reason to restuff or use these battery things again. It's a nice spring. Maybe I could use it for something else. Okay, but right now we've got the original two power connectors here now, and this guy, which is kind of wibbly wobbly. Let's just have a look what's going on there. Why it's so wibbly wobbly. I'm hoping to get a little bit more slack out of this, but let's just see what we can do here. There's a little brackety thing that looks like it's still attached. I probably will just reattach this afterwards, but there we go. Okay, so you can see what's going on better now. Okay, look at this. There's actually a little connection there which does the interesting is that. That's kind of cool. It's designed to slide so that you can slide it up and down and get it in place. Very interesting. Okay, so there's our cables. Let's just find something to, let's just just snip those. They look very oxidized and gross. And let's just find whoopsie, that was bound to happen. Can you see nicely? Can you be seeing nicely there? Yeah, I'm sure you can. Very exciting. I know we like to watch me connect two new wires. Only the best. I'm a sucker for symmetry. Okay, this can actually come out. Oh, there we go. So maybe we just want to do it like that, hey? But will I ever get this back in there again? That's the big question. Yeah, I should be able to. Okay, let's put this to one side. Oh god, now I'm trying to remember which was positive. I suspect that, jeez, I'll have to check what that was. Yeah. Okay, right now we're going to extend this to make it suitable. My intention is to put a DC barrel jack on the back of the machine, replacing the original, well, in addition to the original power source selector, because you get these little plugs now, they're little plug adapters. They're 12 volt, they give 2 amps, which is more than enough, and that's ample for this machine. So, you know, why not, right? So there we go, we've got that. Let me just get some wire. Okay, so let's get the wire. We're not going to need a whole lot of it, just a smidgen. And it was just irritating me, you know. I was not going to do anything with this machine in terms of the power situation, and then I thought, oh, actually would like to do something better than it's got. I'm going to go with red is positive and brown is negative. If it's wrong, I'll have to just fix it at the jack plug. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do my little trick, which is I twist the wires together. Don't just solder them. I twist them together. I learned this from my brother. So I twist them, right? And once I twist them, it looks like that. And then I don't know if you can see that, sort of a, and then I turn it around over itself. So in fact, okay, this is not the greatest wire, but the idea being that is what it looks like, and that should be quite good to solder. I should actually get some heat shrink for this as well. Unfortunately, I don't know where I put my heat shrink, so we're just going to leave that off for now and use some tape to resolve that issue. So as long as the one is insulated, it's fine. Another trick you can do is you cut them different lengths. So this one's connected here, and you connect this one a bit further up, so that even if they're lying next to each other and not insulated, they won't short. But to be honest, I'm not overly concerned about that. I don't think it's going to short somehow. And let's commence the soldering. This is when you'd like to have 3 hands, right? But 2 will have to do in this regard. I've got some paper tape, some masking tape, I think it is. Just going to do that and that. And yeah, I know, don't swear at me for doing it like that. That is fine. That is absolutely fine. That's not going to be a problem. Yes, I must find my heat shrink. Again, here we go, twisting it like that, twisting it around itself, and then turning it around and over itself. That's my X-Men power. Right, there we go. Let's solder that puppy. And let's just do it like that. And obviously I would never do this with this kind of tape for anything that used heavy current. But this is just a 12 volt little supply, and it's not even going to be used very much at all. So yeah, let's just do that, pull it over there. So again, very minimal area of contact there for the parts to short. And yes, they could short, and if they did short, what would happen? Well, let's see. It would blow the power supply, or it would trip the power supply, or fuse the power supply, and it would not actually be threatening destructive, any kind of destructive problem. It would probably blow a fuse at best. On the machine is fused inside, and the power supplies, most power supplies are fused as well. Okay, so I'm happy with that. That's not beautiful, but it's job done, right? So now we need to connect this to, what we're going to do is we're going to modify. Great fun for this. Let me see if I can wrap this wire in a way that it's going to actually be totally away from any physical jarring of any kind. Probably not practical. The wire's a bit too thick. Not bad. Not terrible, not bad, not fantastic, not the worst I've seen. Let me try that again. I'm not happy with that. Okay, sorry. Perfectionist in me comes out. There we go. That looks much better. It's not being clamped or caught or anything like that. And let's just pop that in like that. One. Skew. Why is it going skew? Is it going skew because I've over tightened it, or is it going skew because I've messed up? Don't know. I don't think I've messed up. Maybe I have. Let's just push these in a bit more. Doesn't seem to like what I've done there for some reason. But having said that, that's fine. Let's just see that will fit over it again. Is that going to be a problem? And the answer is, should be fine. So what I want to do now is I want to make a little hole here for a DC connector. So I'm going to put it in the middle there, about there-ish. Time to hold your breath, because here comes the rude way of doing this. Yes, that stinks like hell, but I'm just closing it up, trying not to breathe in the stink. And now just going to drill a bit bigger with my screwdriver. Okay, there's my hole. And the reason I used it, I was going to use the drill, but it's actually easier just to use a soldering iron. Just open the door to get rid of that smell. The plastic smell is probably not very good for you. Let me just see. So that is the hole I've made. It's just a little bit on the small side. So let's just make it bigger without impaling my leg. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can see it. Very exciting. Very exciting. This is BAFTA nominated television, right? Your task: make a DC power barrel jack for the Panasonic NV-180. Your time starts now. You have 10 minutes. That'd be quite cool, like a technical version of Taskmaster. Eh? Like in mechanics, and you know, you have to fix this thing in so many minutes, and obviously it's got to be stuff that's reasonable, but you know, like you know, you've got Master Chef and you've got all these things, so why not have one for mechanics and technicians and, you know, guys who know their oats? Fair enough, you know. I think it'd be quite interesting. Maybe you could learn from that stuff. Or maybe you couldn't. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately my office stinks like burning plastic now, because I know I shouldn't have done this. It's not good for the tip of the soldering iron. I know that. Only too well. In fact, switch that off. I'm done with it for now. So here we've got a very nice pack of DC barrel jacks. I got this on Amazon for about £7, and that's a good selection of different adapter plugs and things, and useful for these kind of things. You want to do these kind of crazy things. So let's see, that pops in there. Yeah, looks like a winner. Let's just see if we can get the is that deep enough to get the thread on? Might be a bit short to get the thread on. Let me just try and smooth it over a little bit on that side. I've got washers. I don't think it's going to be enough for a washer. I think it's just going to be the screw. I think the screw will be sufficient. Oh, see my fat stomach here. It's terrible. Anyway, right, so let's see if we can get that on. Yeah, it looks like it's going. Is it going? Yes, it is going. That looks quite tidy. I mean, no one's going to go, oh, you did a real bodge job, Howard. I mean, maybe they will. I mean, in theory, you could probably build a whole power supply into this small piece now, but the thing is, I don't really want to commit a whole power supply to this. And sometimes it's nice to have the DC input, because you can take this on the road, take it in the car. It can run on 12 volts quite happily. I'm giving this a good old tightening, stripping the sides off it very nicely. Well done, Howard. That was beautiful. Right. Now, I've got here a test socket. Let's just get that up there again. Just going to check here which is positive and which is not positive. So there's 3 connectors on this. One is like a switched connector, so if nothing's connected in, then if nothing's connected in here, then it will allow power to pass through this connector. But once you plug something in, it will cut the power. I don't need to cut the power from anything else, but what I will do is I just want to check with a multimeter that we've got all the right connections. Oh, let's just see which one of these is positive. Okay, the one with the stripe is positive. Good. Okay, so stripe is positive. That I can understand. Just melt all the, get rid of all the plastic on this. It's still, that's the problem when you do this. It's just like, it just starts burning off everything. Okay, I think that's about right now. Okay, I just want to see which one is positive on here. No, that's positive. And negative, I suspect, is this one. No. Yeah, negative, positive, and this is just not used in this particular application. So positive, double triple check. Is this pin, and negative is okay. So the slightly longer one is the one pointing up now is positive, right? The one lying flatter is negative. Okay, fine. Right. Now is the very exciting part. Let's just check on here which is positive and negative, because I've got obviously a little bit of a concern about which was positive and negative on this device. So I'll just check it with a multimeter very quickly. Not sure about this, the way this is bent, but anyway, we'll do that. Probably way too much wire on here. Anyway, positive, negative. Okay. Oh, that was interesting. Interesting lengths I just got on there. Okay, I'm just going to check between the chassis, which is the earth, and the earth here. Yeah, that's right. There'll be continuity between the negative, but there won't be continuity on the positive. So we've got continuity between the antenna socket here, the outer part of the antenna socket, and the black. So that, just checking basically the polarity is right, which is a good thing. Right. So I'm just going to solder these into position. I'm just going to solder these into position. I'm not actually going to worry about crimping these in too much. Let's see here if I can get this in here. Whoa! Okay, well, let's just do the positive. I think the positive was the one that was pointing up, right? Let's just see here. Just going to live dangerously here. Pop it in. Oh no, that wasn't the best. Not my best work. Anyway, it will do the job. Yeah, definitely do the job fine. And let me just do that one a bit. Do that there. Okay. Again, which way is it? Point this way. Yeah. Alright, let me do it this way then. The wire's going to go this way, so yeah. Do it like that. And yes, I should be sticking it through the hole, but I'm not, because again, I'm doing it quick and dirty. So there we go, we've connected that back onto there, and let's just see if we can get this to, I think I may see a problem with my design, but anyway, let's just see what we can accomplish here, and if not, we will rejig it somehow. So this part is actually designed to move a little bit. It's designed to, oh, there we go. Wow, I didn't expect it to work that well, but okay, I'll take it. Let's just see, back to the screws. Now, one of the reasons I like this old machine, other than the fact it still works, is it's incredibly light. 2 kilos for a full VHS machine is pretty good, and there's not a single surface mount component, or certainly no surface mount capacitors in it. It's all traditional capacitors where I could see. So it just struck me as a good item. Now if you look inside there, you'll see all the wires. I don't know if you can see in there, but that doesn't matter. Nothing's going to interfere with that. Okay, just going to double check the continuity between the negative and the chassis again, that I've done it right. I don't want to zap it and put the wrong polarity on the wrong side. Oh dear, I think I have. Really? No. I'm sorry. I'm not measuring the right thing, am I? Yeah, that should be right. So that should be negative. Okay, that looks right. Just double check it. Yeah. So the stripe is positive. Great. So now, mission accomplished. And the reason I do center positive is because most power supplies today are center positive. Whereas the 80s stuff generally was center negative. I don't know if they were just playing silly buggers with each other, but that's kind of the impression I get. Okay, so now we're hooking the machine up to our power. Positive to the positive connector, I should really have some sort of a spade connector on this rather than just that, but okay, for now this is just purely for testing. And oh yeah, positive is the stripe and negative is the non-stripe. So there we go, positive and negative. Just pop that on, plug it in, get it plugged in and connected. Okay. Oh God. All right. It's set to 6 volts at the moment. I will put it up to 9 volts, 10 volts. Actually, these are 12 volts, aren't they? 12 volts is fine. And plug it in. There we go. It's alive. Yay! Okay, now let's take some pictures. Okay, well, I had to get this on tape because I thought this was funny. What's unusual about this camera, it's far more sensitive to light and gives a better picture than the other two cameras from JVC, Sony, and of course I've noticed that the performance on this camera is actually better and it uses less electricity. It has a very basic focus on it, but more about that later. Let's put a tape in our newly repaired Panasonic NV-180 video recorder. This was a bit of a challenge to fix because it was all glued and gummed up in the inside, but I managed to get it working. Here I have a Virgin TDK HS180 tape. I bought this at a charity shop for 50p. That's about the right amount. Let's open that. Ooh, brand new VHS. Yep, totally new smell, nothing gross. Okay, so basically I'm going to put this tape into the machine and do some recording. So let's just put these things to one side and let's pop this in. We're going to eject that, pop that in and hit record, and let's just see if it does record. Yeah, it says record on the front. And it's the first time I'm testing this machine for recording. What I like about this portable, even though it's so small, it takes a full-size VHS tape, which is pretty impressive. Obviously the original battery has failed, so I've used a slightly dead battery from my UPS, which I replaced fairly recently, to supply the 12 volts it needs to record. And let's take it outside. Okay, so here's the money shot. We've got the tape in there. We're going to push play and see what happens. You know, it's so small, it takes a full-size VHS tape, which is pretty impressive. Obviously the original sound is very good. It's clean as a bell. I used a slightly dead battery from my UPS, which I replaced fairly recently to supply the 12 volts it needs to record. And let's take it outside. You and I get to watch this. First of all, we're in here in the office recording. Let's pick up the camera, and we can see there. Much cleaner off the battery than the power supply. The machine recording. Good sound. Focus on this camera. There's only a zoom, so you're either in focus or you're not. A very simple, cheap lens. I just realized the cat's name is Zoom, so that's kind of funny. To confirm, the pause button on the camera works beautifully. Now, what I'm seeing through the viewfinder is clear, but what's on the screen is blurred. That would explain a lot of blurred videotapes I get. Now I'm officially outside, and I can't tell if this is focused or not. No, it's as good as it's going to get. We are recording on the machine. It's a pretty decent picture, to be honest with you. And powering. Colours are a bit of cable, odd. So let's take some pictures outside of the tree. Got some dots on the tube. I don't know, I think it's just dirt in the lens somewhere, but I couldn't be asked to fix that.
Wow, look at that detail. Let me put the camera onto outdoor. Camera's on outdoor now. And let's shoot over to those plants there.
Might have been a bad connection.
Yes, gardening is not my strong point. But there we have.
Interesting. It's actually the dirt in there's getting worse. I think there's something. Oh God, yeah. There's definitely something living inside the camera, which is a shame, really. Hey, I have to figure out how to open that and clean it up. Oh God, it's a horror show.
Nice burn mark, I'm sure. And look at that. There's an aeroplane.
I wonder if that's just the filter that's got dirt in it.
Across the sky.
Oh, that's horrible.
There seems to be a spider web inside this camera, because in the viewfinder I can see the spider web. Anywho, now we're going onto the apple tree.
Don't go onto the apple tree. Yeah.
And I must say it's actually very light, this camera, once you... Oh, here we go, we're going to start the show. Hello, kitty. Hello, pussycat. Would you like to be the first cat in 2023 that's being videotaped on a VHS Saticon camera? Is that even focused? I have no idea, because I have no focus on this. I'm just keeping the shot wide in case.
The sound is particularly good on this, I've got to say.
No. Hello. Oh, where are you going? Where are you going? Oh, cat butt. That's the best stuff. Hey, kitty. I hope this is working. You're the star of the show. I was hoping you'd do a guest appearance here. Who needs Frasier when we've got Zoom the cat? Windy today. I wonder how the sound's coming up. Oh.
It sounds actually pretty darn good. Pretty good. Oh. You can't be more retro more than that.
It's very gratifying to push start and actually see the tape start turning around. Let's see how good the battery is on this according to this. Oh, it's almost flat according to this counter. But anyway, what a bit of fun that is. Very cool. Let's see if we can get some more aeroplanes in the sky. There's one. The others I can see here. It's a blue sky in England. Very unusual for late November. But that's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, I must say, not bad. The sound is excellent. The aperture is very quick to adjust. Very reactive. So the minute the picture is over or underexposed, that aperture shoots crazily up or down. Very impressive. Okay, well, I'm very pleased with that. Very pleased indeed. Well, I hope you enjoyed that and that it was interesting to watch. I certainly had a lot of fun playing with that camera, and there are one or two more. I've got a Betamax version of that camera, which at some point I need to pull out and test out, and that'll be quite exciting. But there's a lot of other machines and different types of things that are waiting to be looked at and shown on the channel. So I hope that you'll subscribe. My name's Howard, and this is avtransfers.co.uk, the media place to be, saying thanks for watching and bye for now.